Hello, welcome to another episode of Mouth Dancing. Your host, Young. Today I wanted to talk about realism. You ever heard people complaining about something like a movie or a book not being realistic enough? Like, I didn't really believe the story or any of the characters or anything. But if you were to really make things like in a movie or a book realistic, it would be insanely boring. Just think about everything happening in real time. The camera is on, for instance, some guy as he wakes up in the morning, right? His alarm clock is going off and he keeps hitting snooze on it. He does this for like 10 minutes, and that's actual 10 minutes of movie time. Then he gets up really slowly and picks the eye boogers out of his eyes and yawns and stretches. Finally gets up like 15 minutes after the movie started. Makes himself some kind of shitty breakfast. Instant oatmeal or something. Maybe some orange juice and coffee. I don't know, maybe he takes a dump, washes his face and brushes his teeth. Puts on his Dockers. He has like maybe 3 pairs of Dockers, and he puts on the one pair of them that he wears pretty much every other day to work. And then, he rushes out the door to get the bus or get to his car, like, just barely in time to get to work on time. And, by the time he gets to work, like an hour or more of the movie has passed, and then he gets to work. And nothing happens except that he does his work. Nothing extraordinary happens. He checks his emails and shit. And then by the time a regular movie, length has passed, like an hour and a half or something, all you've seen this guy do is get up to get ready for work, go to work, and then do a little bit of work. That's what realism would look like if you were to make everything extremely realistic. If that's what you want, then I don't think you really know what you're asking for. So be careful what you ask for, as they say, right? Realism actually kind of sucks. I get sick of things being too realistic. The real world is shit. I want to see some fantasy type stuff happening. Something magical happening. Something that doesn't happen in real life. Isn't the point of books and movies and things like that to kind of escape reality? I don't know, sometimes you want to see some kind of a realistic movie. Those can be kind of cool, but too much of it gets boring. And if you're a person, I think, who demands realism all the time, I don't know. I think there's something wrong with you, to be honest. You need to go to a goddamn shrink and get yourself checked. Because you have no sense of imagination. And you have no fucking balls to grow a fucking set of nuts to hang below your dick. Or if you're female or identify as female, then ignore the balls part. You just need to get a sense of imagination and think outside of the box, as they say. Even though I hate that stupid expression. Think outside of the cardboard box. You don't want to be inside of a cardboard box. That's where you put things when you're moving, or to ship things somewhere. That's not where you want to be all the time. At least I think so. But yeah, let's see a little more, fairy dust sprinkled onto things. Instead of this watching a guy wake up and scratch his balls and get ready for work. Let's say something else happens. The alarm clock doesn't go off. A stranger enters his house and slaps him across the face and says, "You need to get ready for work." And then leaves without saying anything else. So then the movie becomes about who is this stranger? How do they know this guy needs to get to work? And how did they get in the guy's place? And why are they so concerned about this guy getting to work on time? And then how's the guy going to react? Is he going to get a restraining order, or I don't know, file assault charges against this person? Or is the guy going to be thankful and say, God, I was going to be late for work if it weren't for you. Forgot to set my alarm the night before. That's the kind of thing you want to see in a movie, right? It's not very realistic. It could happen, but it's not very likely to happen. And then, the movie could be about this guy looking for this person. Turns out the person is not a ghost. That's a little bit predictable, but maybe some sort of a weird stranger, or not a stranger, maybe a person from this guy's past. Maybe they went to school together. Maybe it's an old teacher, or a drill sergeant, or a neighbor. Maybe it's his old Sunday school teacher, or counselor from camp. Maybe just an old friend who he didn't recognize because he was half asleep. And this friend, I don't know, is a spy. But not just a regular spy. A bionic spy that's been, engineered by the government to have supersonic hearing and, some sort of X-ray vision. And also an extremely high degree of conscientiousness about other people. So this dude is just going around, looking through walls and listening to what's going on, and going around trying to right wrongs or improve people's lives. Sounds kind of like Superman, but this guy doesn't fly. And he's not always just rescuing people, He's helping people. He's kind of like a life coach. And, he'll slap someone and berate them, which Superman wouldn't do. It's a little different in that regard. It's kind of not a superhero, not an anti-hero either, kind of a weird mix. See, that's what you want. You don't want realism. You don't want, Jimbo getting up and taking a big shit and that taking up 20 minutes of the movie. That's realism, okay? So let's toss that idea immediately. Stop asking for things to be more realistic and believable, because that's not what you really want. Believe me. And I think I just laid out a really good case. The other day I was walking my dog, and down the street, I went down the street I don't usually go down, and I saw a couple homeless people fighting in an alleyway a distance away, and they were punching each other. They were rolling around on the ground and fighting, pulling each other's hair and scratching. And I said, "Hey! What are you fucks doing over there? Stop that, or I'm going to call the police." And they didn't stop, though. I mean, I don't think they have anything to lose. I don't think they really cared about my threat. So they kept going at it, And I had my dog with me, so it would have been hard to intervene, I think. I would have had to, tie my dog up somewhere. And I didn't really care that much either. I didn't want to get involved in this thing, So I walked my dog past these dudes. They were still going at it. I walked a few miles that day, and we turned around. And when we were coming back, I didn't see the guys there anymore. I looked down the alley, in the front of the alley where they'd been fighting, and I didn't see them down the alley either, so I kind of wanted to investigate, actually. I went down the alley and looked around behind the dumpsters and everything, and they weren't around, so I kind of wondered what happened to them. And I went back to where they'd been fighting it. Didn't see much traces of anything. I didn't see like blood or like knocked out teeth or hair on the ground or anything like that. So I wonder what happened to those guys. Maybe they stopped fighting and made up. Maybe they fight all the time. Maybe they were just playing around, actually. Maybe they were drunk or on drugs. I think they're okay, though. One of them I recognize, actually. I see this guy all the time in the neighborhood. He's kind of like one of the neighborhood dudes who lives on the streets in this area. I haven't seen him since, but if I do see him, I'm going to ask him what went on. If he even bothers to answer me. Well, I'm going to take a commercial break here for one of my sponsors. Everyone knows there are erectile dysfunction pills on the market. Many men take them to regain some of their youthful vitality or overcome performance anxiety. But as we age, our appetite for not only sex but also food decreases. That's why we formulated a new medication called Unsatisfied that helps you achieve an erection and feel hungry. When you take one of these, you'll find yourself in the kitchen cooking up a big meal or at the grocery store, all while having a long-lasting and very firm erection. Unsatisfied is potent enough to last through mealtime and lovemaking, so you never have to worry again about finishing a big steak the way you used to or maintaining a powerful boner. Probably the only downside to this medication is how much you'll be spending preparing or buying meals and having the best sex of your life. Never go hungry or flaccid again with Unsatisfied. Thank you, Unsatisfied, for sponsoring this podcast. You guys ever notice how America has a lack of public restrooms? This is pretty much evident in any big city you go to in America, like even New York City, right? America is kind of infamous, I think, for not being very convenient in that way, or hospitable. Like, if you're a tourist in America, it's pretty rough, when you don't know where the public restrooms are. You don't have a place to go to except your hotel. Or you might have to go buy something somewhere, just to use the bathroom. I do remember sometimes in New York there was like these pay stalls that you could go into in public places. It's kind of insane making people pay to use the bathroom. If you ever visit Japan, there are public restrooms almost everywhere. It's kind of awesome. I mean, it is awesome. I wish that were the case in America. And you're going to get more people just pooing and peeing in public places, hiding out behind the bushes or behind a wall, behind a car or something. That's a big problem in places that don't have enough public restrooms. It's a public health hazard. I mean, the streets of America are basically flowing with shit and piss. You don't want to see that, right? I've seen someone, when I was skating, pull to the side of the road. This was in broad daylight, and the passenger got out and took a fucking shit on the street. I'm not kidding, right there, and I could see them, and they didn't care. And they even wiped their ass and left the toilet paper behind on the street. Pretty wacky if you think about it. That shouldn't happen. There should be a restroom that they could have gone to. They shouldn't be using the streets as their fucking urinal or their potty. Their porta potty. So why don't taxpayers or voters demand that there be more public restrooms in this country? That'd be actually a good infrastructure project too. And it'd be good for creating jobs. You could be part of this new initiative across the country to build more public restrooms. I think a lot of people are jobless still because of COVID. That would create so many jobs. You'd have less logs of crap on the street, less puddles of pee. It's pretty much a win-win situation in every respect. I know. I mean, don't lie. I know that every one of you listening has done this before, you know. Urinated or defecated in a public place because there was just nowhere else to go. Maybe it was at night, parked your car somewhere dark, you got out and you fucking peed on the side of the road or, you know, behind some buildings onto a wall. Maybe you even took a dump somewhere public, which is really nasty, dude. That shouldn't be happening. Maybe someone should create a product that's like a portable bathroom that you could just set up anywhere. It's kind of like an inflatable tent or something. Maybe not inflatable. Maybe it's like collapsible. And then when you throw it down, it just puffs up into like a little public lavatory. Or not public, just a little private lavatory that you could go into. And then the poo and pee goes into like a special bag. Maybe not a bag, maybe some sort of a container. Well, either way, it doesn't matter. And then you just carry that around. Then when you get to a bathroom, you can unload it into the toilet. So everyone could be carrying one of these things. And then, you know, you'd be walking down the street, and then suddenly someone erects their little portable toilet on the sidewalk. And you're like, oh, I know what that person's going to do. They go inside it and take a really loud dump that you can hear. They're like groaning and straining, and you could hear the farts in the water. I mean, actually, there's no water in it. You could hear the turds, though, flopping against the container. And the person going, oh! But it's better than them actually doing it on the street, right? That'd be pretty cool to do that if we had that product available. I'd be one of the first in line to get it. I'd probably pre-order that thing. I wouldn't even wait for it to be released yet. I'd be like, get me on the list now. On the pre-order list. Sign me up. Or if like someone made a GoFundMe, they're like, I have this new product idea and I just need some funding for it. I'd chip in for sure. Like, you want my credit card number? Here it is. Let's get this thing built, or let's get this product, you know, out there on the market. Because we could all use it. America's just, you know, flooded in shit and piss. It's insane. We're supposed to be a developed country, but we're not. In some respects, right? You know, I'm tired of looking out the window and seeing people squatting, thinking they're like, no one can see them. And like, dude, I can see everything, bro. I can see your dick and balls and your butthole widening as the turds come out. And then you're trying to be like clever and wipe your ass with, you know, some leaves or something, and then leave the leaves on the ground. That's kind of dangerous too. That's slippery. If a leaf has poop on the bottom side of it or the underside of it, and you step on that, it's kind of like a banana peel on the ground. You don't want people slipping and sliding on, you know, leaves that were used as toilet paper. And also, you know, when I'm walking my dog, I don't want him to like sniff a puddle of pee or like start licking it or something. That's nasty. Tired of the mystery liquid puddles everywhere. The golden colored ones. Not everyone is into golden showers, so you shouldn't, you know, inflict that on us. Basically coercing people to do shit that they don't want to do. Not everyone has that fetish. I'm not like into golden showers, you know. Don't force me to be, you know, to partake in that stuff that you like. Instead, erect your portable potty and do your business in there. I'm not talking about a porta potty either. Not one of those old honey bucket type things. This would be made of like rubber or plastic or whatever tents are made out of. It'd be that material, so that it's portable on your person. I mean, you don't need like a crane or a truck to transport it around. So yeah, I think that we're all on board with this. So those are two things that we're all on board with now that I've laid out my case. Is realism. We don't really want that, and we need portable toilets. Portable personal toilets. Let's call them PPTs. That's a good name. Well, enjoy the summer and enjoy Leo season, which just started the other day. Crazy time of year if you're into astrology. I don't really believe in it myself, but I think I have a pretty cool zodiac sign, which is the Leo. So for that reason, I like it, but I don't really believe in it because it's kind of nonsensical. But it's still cool in that way, because lions are really cool. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of the summer. Get out there and shake your ass and get it tanned and eat some barbecue and ice cream. And I'll see you next week. And some potato salad. And yeah. And go swimming. Or surfing or skateboarding. Or whatever you do in the summertime. And pet your dog or your cat or your bird or whatever. Your pets. Pet your dog for me. Say hi. And I'll see you next week. Goodbye.